estimated 10 to 15 million adult working citizens that have been condemned to exploitative lending practices, where they work for the lenders with little left from their toil to better their livelihoods. The government is providing annual budgetary allocation of Kenya shillings 50 billion per year for the next 5 years for establishment and operationalization of the revolving fund. The ESLA fund has 4 products, namely personal loans, micro business, SMEs, and startup loans targeting various segments of the population. The second product of the micro loans will be unveiled in February 2023 by the President, which will target groups, chamas, cooperatives, and will be channeled through SACCOs, micro financial institutions, and banks. The loan will range between 100,000 and 2.5 million and 3 million. Sorry, the loan will range between 100,000 and 2.5 million, targeting over 3 million enterprises under this category. The startup bill is undergoing discussion with the various stakeholders, and we have already circulated requests for advisory and also contribution from all the stakeholders involved in startup, from training institutions, universities, business enterprises, business organizations. And as you are aware, the President has just come back from a trip to United States, where he met so many potential angel investors, venture capitalists, people who are interested in taking up risks with our people. And we think the startup bill is an opportunity that will give all young graduates with great ideas an opportunity to grow their business. They will be able to underwrite any startup risks and onboard venture capitalists, angel investors, and business incubation. Now, as of today, the 19th of December 2022, we have already dispersed through our intermediaries, the mobile networks and the 2 commercial banks, a total of Kenya shillings 9,583,139,492. The total repayment received so far as at midday today was Kenya shillings 2,643,191,562. The number of Kenyans or customers who have opted in to this program, ASLA Fund program, are 16 million Kenyans, 591,441. The savings so far are Kenya shillings 479 million 032 238 479 million 32,238. The total number of transactions are 16,590,664, and the number of repeat customers are 2,693,705. As on the 14th of December 2022, being the first day of collection, that is expiry of the first 14 days, a record 59.30 in repayment was achieved. The message for the information, or if you when we analyze this information, it shows, one, the record entry and onboarding of Kenyans means that this product has struck the most and the most needy area of many Kenyans. So many Kenyans have been locked out. So many have been involved in overnight borrowing with a very high cost of lending, ranging between 1% to 3% per night or per day. Secondly, I'm also encouraged by the repayment, because 59.3% as they mature is higher than any other product that we have had in the market. With this 59.3%, I'm encouraged that many Kenyans have taken this product positively and they are responding very well, and we believe this will give this fund the strength that they deserve. This intervention is for a moment, and this is an initiative by government to support Kenyans who have had no access because of lack of security, collateral, lack of financial information, financial data. They have been given a chance to get financial statements through Hustler Fund, and any financial institution can utilize this information to assess the integrity, to assess the bankability of any Kenyan who has joined this program. The number of savings, 479 million so far in the last 19 days, means if this saving is progressed at this rate, when we do our projections, we should be able to clock over 32 billion shillings within 2 years. And this will now go a long way in supporting our savings-led credit, where the savings will stand out as security or as backup for enhanced borrowing. So going forward, I want to encourage Kenyans to, those who have already enrolled in this program, to ensure that they pay within the period so that they can enhance their score. We are looking at taking notes, studying the behavior, so that in the next 1 month, we should be able to review now how limits will be placed. On day 15 and 16, we recorded repayments of 52.45% and 47.77% respectively, which also demonstrate an impressive positive trend by the hustlers to repay the borrowed amounts and apply for more funds. On the category, on the spread of age or borrowing according to age, between 18 years and 29 years, that there were 33%. Between 30 and 39 years, 30%. Between 40 and 49 years, 19%. Between 50 and 59 years, 10%. Between 60 and 69 years, 5%. And over 69 years, 2%. We've also looked at the type of phones they are using while borrowing. And the common type of phone, that is the Mulika Mwizi, or we call it feature phone, 51%. So truly, the borrowers are our common men, our hustlers. And those who are using smartphones were 49%. We've also analyzed the distribution per county and the uptake per county. For example, in Baringo, we have 135,550 hustlers who have taken up this facility. In Busia, we have 193,357, and in Mutembei, 246,512. In Kakamega, 427,917. Kiambu County, 812,127 have taken up this ASLA fund. In Kilifi, 401,397. In Kirinyaga, 178,539. In Kisumu, 303,284. And Meru, 449,095. And Migori, 237,408. Another example is Mombasa, 368,068. In Nairobi, 1,413,118. And Nakuru, 594,399, to name just but a few. MSME contribute approximately 40% of our GDP. This shows that the critical role of our MSMEs in play in driving the growth of our economy, and why this fund is crucial in widening access to credit. Today, over 5 million Kenyans have been removed from the Credit Reference Bureau and are now fully reintegrated into the economy. We welcome the decision by the local and international institutions to partner with us in expanding the fund. These include Google, Visa International, and Microsoft. In terms of repayment, in terms of gender distribution, 57% of the borrowers are men and 43% are women. And in terms of repayment rates, I can give you the top 5. Nyandarua County on average is 54.8%. In Kirinyaga is about 53.3%. In Nandi County is 52.9%. Trans Nzoia about 52.8%. And Nyeri about 52.4%. The ones that the repayment rates bottom 5, Tana River 34.3%, and Garissa 32.4%, and Marsabit at 1.3%, and Wajir and Mandera 28.8%, and Wajir 27.2%. So, given those numbers, by top 5 county in terms of value, Nairobi County, we've disbursed approximately 1,148,600,000, and Kiambu we have disbursed 651,100,000, and Nakuru 454,300,000, and Machakos 354,400,000, and Meru 320,500,000. So that is basically the distribution of the ASLA fund since the beginning of and the launch by the president. So we are asking Kenyans and all ASLAs who have taken up this call by government that this loan, this facility, this fund is meant for them to assist them come out of the current lockdown of very high interest rates and support them in their small businesses. And also, the fund will remain with the hustlers. We expect Kenyans to graduate slowly, move up the ladder, but the fund will remain to support the hustlers at the bottom. Thank you very much.
We'll take a few questions, maybe 3. Yes, Jen.
Well, my first question would be, I think there are a lot of questions being asked by many where the government is sourcing the funds that it is using for the Hustler Fund. So what institutions are these you're working with? Because first there was the assertion that when the 5th administration came into office, the coffers were empty. The second question would be, how does the fund operate in terms of the individuals who say they've made their repayments, started off with other friends, but then their friends have already had their limits increased, they have remained there. So how does it operate?
Yes, on the limits.
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so my name is Nina Shivan from NTV. What I'd like to know is the savings that are being made, that's the 5% deduction from the loan. What's the interest rate on the savings, and how soon can one begin to access the savings?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Don from Channel 7. My question is, do you think the way the opposition has been pushing people to not to pay the ASLA funds, because we saw Jacaranda them telling people that do not pay for the debts that you've taken, is it going to affect the ASLA fund in a way?
Thank you. Okay, I'll take those ones. Thank you, Chemtai. On your question, the sourcing of the source of the funds. This is a government initiative, and it's funded through government resources. And we made a request. As you are aware, we went through a proper process of establishing this fund. We published through Treasury the regulations to establish this fund. We went through parliamentary approval first through the delegated legislation, and later the regulations were tabled before the full house and was approved just before we launched the product on 30th. And in that document, government committed to fund the ASLA fund, and Treasury is the right institution to respond to the sources, because us as a ministry, we make requests to fund our programs, to fund our activities, and we get funded. However, in those regulations, there were provisions. The fund can be funded directly by the exchequer, by grants, by investments, and by even through donations. We already have so many people interested in supporting the fund, and we are working on modalities of onboarding them. Some want to join us as a grant or as a loan, and we welcome all those who want to partner with us, friends of the people of Kenya, and through Treasury, we'll be able to onboard them. Secondly, there are people who have made repayments, and their limits have changed. Some have not changed. The scoring and setting of the limits is done through an algorithm system which has been agreed upon between the mobile network operators and the commercial banks. And as we begin, we are using various tools. Some of them include the historical information or records on your mobile phone. Some of them we are using communication and consumption of airtime, and also possibly through that phone we could be able to establish that you have been a trader, you have been in business, and possibly begin to look at you as a micro or a small business person. On the second question, on the savings have remained. The funds we have released have not been taken out, and so the deductions have been done by the intermediaries. And in this case, we have two banks. We have now the first banks who began with us, Kenya Commercial Bank and the Family Bank, and the interest is based on the current or the ongoing interest rates in the banks. That is the fixed deposits or the call rates that are ongoing right now. This information will be clarified, or rather will be developed better, when our administrator, the fund administrator who is managing the savings, we have already onboarded National Social Security Fund, which is a government agency, in management and administration of the fund, and they will be able to onboard the fund managers, the custodial managers, and also the administrators, expert administrators who have been regulated and licensed by Retirement Benefits Authority. This institution, these savings are subject to regulation by Retirement Benefits Authority. So it's the onboarding of all these services is happening, and by the end of this month, all these structures are going to be in place. Thank you very much.
Any other burning question? Maybe
Last one.
Yes, probably we want to talk about.
Introduction.
My name is Lydia O'Keefe from Ramongi TV. So there's a limit that people are being given. We have, the limit is 500 shillings. So not everybody can be able to do business using 500 shillings. Do you follow up on what you do with this money? Is there a way that you are able to follow it up and find out exactly what they are doing with this particular fund? And then, in case one defaults, what happens? So far, what are the penalties? Maybe you may also want to talk about that as well. And also the limit. What's the highest that you've given so far? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm John Mutuam from the Business Daily. My question is on the repayment. Yeah? With 9 billion already disbursed and then 2 billion has already been paid. If you look at the numbers, is that we've already 2 repayment dates that are falling due. I just want to know, don't you feel that the kitty is a bit exposed? Because if you look at 9 and 2 billion, it's quite huge. Don't you feel that the kitty is a bit exposed?
The last question.
Last one.
Jalango from KTN. We apologize for coming late. But first, what I say is one of the things that we really want to understand is the saving that is being done. When it comes to the saving, how they need to, after how long can Kenyans access this money and how? Okay,
very good. Thank you very much. Let me start with yours, the late comer. Savings, as we speak now, we have saved approximately 478 million Kenyan shillings, which is approximately 5% from the loans we've given. And we are going to split this saving into two. We will have 70% of that money going to long-term savings, which means it's a pension. So it will be accessed at maybe at retirement at age 60, just like any other pension. And the other 30% is, which is the 70% will be matched also by government. For every 2 shillings you save, government will give you 1 up to a maximum of 6,000. On the other 30%, the projections or the plan is access within 1 year. And this 30% can be also enhanced by voluntary additional contribution. And this is the fund that we want really to promote and ask Kenyans to enhance, because with this, you can be able to save for a house, you can save for a car, you can save for children, school fees, you can save for other personal development. So we are affording, we are assisting and facilitating hustlers to begin to save. Sometimes the life they go through does not allow them to save even a shilling. But through this arrangement, we will be able to organize the hustlers to save. The 70% be retained for their pension, and the 30% be retained for their immediate needs, which is within a year. But we are encouraging them to increase, to also find other means to enhance it. The other bit was the repayment from Mutua. We have given out, or rather we have disbursed 9 billion and we have received 2.6. The first 14-day happened on Friday last week. The 14 days was Thursday. That's the first 14 days. And as I reported, 59% of that I've paid back. So From the other models and the other digital loans that have been issued, their performance is much lower than that. From the performance of others, rather other products in the market, the Hustler Fund is doing much better than the other products in the market which are dealing in digital lending. We believe that our loan period is 14 days, but we have it is extended for 1 month, which means you have additional 14 days to pay up. So as we speak, a default can only be counted from day 31. So the 14 days was looking at the practice in the other loans like Shylocks, who lend overnight, who lend for 2 days and 3 days. The Hustler Fund has capped its period to 14 days, but with a single extension by another 14 days to end of the month. So as we speak, all loans are still regular up to this minute. But we are happy and encouraged that even half the month, already 59% of that money has been recovered. And I think that question will be better asked maybe towards end of February, end of January, so that we will have seen the pattern. But I can tell you Kenyans are really excited and committed to working and borrowing and also repaying this loan, because one, it has the lowest interest rate, 8%, which is about 0.96 a month, which is about 0.02% per day, which we have no other similar product in the market that comes close to this fund. Secondly, on the saving component, there are no products that in the market providing or giving Kenyans a saving chance. This is the only fund that is according or giving Kenyans an opportunity to save for their pension and to save for immediate needs, which maybe in a year they can be able to access. And it's giving them a platform also to be able to organize themselves, to plan themselves. On the question from Lydia, okay, the limit of 500 shillings is a lot of money to a hustler. It depends on what you are doing. For a rich man, yes, that could be a lot of money. But for a man who depends on very small business, I mean, I'm talking about a mama mboga who buys who buys maybe a debe of potatoes and takes them to a market and sells them into 2 kilos and earns her living through that daily activity. I'm talking of a person roasting maize. I'm talking about a person even cleaning and shining shoes. These people have the needs of about 500 shillings, 1,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings. We did our research before launching this product, and on average the borrowing is ranging between 700 to 3,000. So as many Kenyans, over 10 million Kenyans, were locked up in CRB because of less than 1,000 shillings. So it tells you many Kenyans' needs are within that range, and that is the definition of a hustler. Somebody who wakes up, does these small business activities, but still be able to feed their family. So in this limit, our follow-up has not begun. Our monitoring and evaluation has not begun. I'm even appealing to you, members of the media, to go out there and do some research and give us information. The story I have myself is really good, but I would be happy to receive and get this feedback from you people when you interview and ask people in the field. On the defaults and penalties, we have, this is a credit score loaning scheme we are basing our loans on credit score. There are no logbooks, there are no title deeds, there are no collateral, and it's based on trust. It is based on the government has taken a risk on all Kenyan hustlers, and it is up to individual Kenyans to rise up and honor this and this relationship, because you have an opportunity to grow your borrowing capacity from that lowest 500 shillings to 50,000. And if you keep borrowing and repaying on time, your scores will keep going up. And one day, one time, you'll be able to borrow directly using your phone without any form of security up to 50,000 shillings. Currently, the highest loan that we have given is 5,000 shillings. And the lowest is 500 shillings, of course, less the 5% deduction. Finally, was I think I've exhausted the questions.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
We are done. Until next time, we keep having regular briefings, maybe after the next 2 weeks. Asante sana.
Thank you.